Hello everyone, I'm James Barton, the Head of Student Experience at BASBIC, and in this short video I'm going to talk you through our A1 to A2 progression process. This is the process by which students make choices for their second year at BASBIC, making sure that their study programme and their progression support matches to what they'd like to do in the future. So this consists of two things. Firstly, a tutorial pathway. So every student will have to choose a tutorial pathway for their second year at BASVIC. In the first year, our tutorial program is called our community pathway, and every single student will do the same sessions. This will be supporting them to understand our community values, to help develop their independent learning skills and their employability skills, to get the most out of their time at BASVIC and prepare for the future, and then helping them to think about what they might like to do when they finish their courses with us. In the second year, the tutorial pathway aligns to where they think they'd like to be, and there are 5 options. So there's the UCAS pathway, employability and enterprise, visual arts, Oxbridge and medics. So I'll just say a little bit more about each of those. So UCAS, which is our most popular pathway, is designed to support students who are thinking they might like to progress to university after they leave college. It supports with key processes like making a UCAS application, writing your personal statement, and also researching universities and how you make the right choices. We also support students with thinking about the future, like independent living, financial planning, everything they need to know to feel safe and secure after they leave college. On our employability and enterprise pathway, this is for students specifically who are not thinking of progressing to university anytime in the future. It looks at developing those key employability skills, CV writing, job applications, interview techniques, and also has a bit of a focus on apprenticeships because we know this is an increasingly popular option for our students. If you're thinking of taking a gap year and working and then making an application to university, you should apply to the UCAS pathway. If university is on horizon for you at all, then UCAS is the one to choose. So next up, visual arts. This is a pathway specifically designed to support students who are thinking of progressing onto a creative course or career in the future. That one of the focuses of the course is developing something called your portfolio. So this will be a physical or digital collection of your creative work designed to showcase the best of your skills. Many students on the visual arts course will apply to something called an art foundation, which is a free level 3/4 college course that lasts for a year, that's free as long as you're 19 before the 1st of September. It allows you to develop your creative practice more and continue to build that portfolio. But equally, you can apply directly to university for a creative course, and we will help you prepare for that and make those UCAS applications for those courses. And it's important to note this isn't just for fine art, photography, textiles, or graphic design students. Equally, film students who need to build that portfolio to showcase their work to apply to things like animation or filming should apply for the visual arts tutorial pathway. Then we have Oxbridge. So this is a tutorial pathway for students who are planning to make an application to Oxford or Cambridge. If you're interested in this, you should have been part of the Oxbridge Society from quite early on at college, which has given you lots of information about this pathway and what you need to know. There is a kind of entry requirement for this pathway. That's simply about making sure that your grades are at a level that means you will be considered by Oxford or Cambridge. And there is an early application to Oxford or Cambridge. It's a different process. So you will join this group early before the summer in order for us to give you the right amount of information and foundation and support to make those early applications. And then we help you prepare for entrance exams and interviews, as well as providing all that essential information about living independently and managing your finances in the future. And then medical careers is quite similar. It's for students who are interested in applying to study medicine, dentistry, or veterinary science. It's similar in the way that you should have been part of MedSoc since beginning college. So you've been given lots of information about this pathway. It has that similar sort of basic entry requirement just in order to make sure you've got the grades that mean you will be considered for one of those degrees. And equally, it is an early application process. So you would join that group before the summer to give you the time to make those applications and then prepare for things like admissions, testing, and interviews. So every single student will choose one of those pathways to go on. It's important to note that just because you join one pathway, it doesn't prevent you from changing your mind or trying something different. Of course, employability and enterprise students can still make UCAS applications. And of course, visual arts students don't have to apply to a creative degree if they have a bit of a rethink. We make sure that all that general support and the guidance is available to you through your personal tutor, through your guidance manager, through our careers teams, and through lots of information that we provide for you via SharePoint. So the other key part of this A1 to A2 progression process is something called a portfolio course. This is an additional 1 session, so 1.5 hours per week course that goes on to second year's timetables. We've got over 50 courses to choose from, and there's a huge range of options and opportunity for our students. So they might choose something that allies quite directly with what they'd like to do in the future. So for instance, people interested in architecture might apply for the sculpture and 3D design course. And it might be something that's about developing your skills further. So you might look at a journalism course or introduction to counselling. You don't have to be doing courses directly related to them, but you might be interested in building those additional skills. Or it could simply be something for fun, something that you just want to engage with because it sounds interesting, like Italian for holidays, or table tennis or photography for beginners, for instance. It's important that students have that range of choice because we know that for a lot of our students, 3 full A-levels or level 3 BTECs are enough to stay on top of, and they don't want to put an additional course on their timetable, but it's going to add significantly to their workload. But equally want to give opportunities to those students who want to stretch and challenge themselves a bit further. When they make their portfolio courses, it's very clear in the course outline of each one what the workload expectations are. For instance, will you be expected to do work outside of that 1.5 hour block, whether the course yields a qualification, who it might be suitable for. Some of them do have some entry requirements. For instance, you need to be doing a particular course in order to be able to choose that portfolio, but most of them don't. And it will give you an idea of where it might take you in the future and how it may help you with your personal statement or CV or job application, for instance. So not everyone has to choose a portfolio course. Study support students already have that additional block on their timetable, so they don't have to choose a portfolio course. But if they do, they will be considered with the same priority as anybody else. Double maths and 2 A-level students can't choose a portfolio course. They have more than enough on their timetable already. And then students who are doing a language, dance, or doing an EPQ in their first year don't have to choose one because they already have additional sessions on their timetable. They can choose to put down for portfolios if they want, but where courses are full, we will prioritize those students who don't already have additional hours on their timetable. When choosing portfolio, students need to select 4 in order of preference. This is just to give us the best opportunity to make sure that a course will be free on a student's timetable. And they have the option to put in comments about why certain courses are particularly important or useful to them. And we will always do our best to take that into consideration. Though please bear in mind that timetabling 800 second year students into portfolio courses alongside their core study program is incredibly complex and difficult. So it isn't always possible to timetable students onto their first preference, which is why we ask for 4 and we'll always do our best to find one of those. And there are some rules. So for instance, students taking physics A-level but not maths, there's a portfolio just for them called Maths for Physics. Employability and enterprise, students should choose something that relates in some way to what they'd like to do in the future to help with those job applications and progression plans. And maybe music students who aren't in possession of grade 5 music theory, and there's a specific music theory course for them to take. And finally, law and politics students and our double math students have choices to make for their second year about what pathway they take. They should be discussing this with their teachers in advance who are best placed to give advice and guidance on those different pathways. So in terms of progressing into the second year at BASVIC, there are some requirements. Make sure that students are ready to progress with us, and they need to be in a position to continue with at least 2 of their 3 courses. They need to have met the targets on any red support plans, so we can't carry those over into the second year. We expect those to be resolved. And they need to have made these choices, so students to progress have to have chosen their tutorial pathway and their portfolio course if needed, and their tutor needs to have seen this and signed it off. And then really importantly, we need to have seen that required level of attendance, engagement with subjects, engagement with things like tutorial, the student conference and skills week, to see that student is upholding that part of their learner agreement. And last but not least, they can't owe the library any money. So the process opened on Monday, the 2nd of March. That's when students could start making their choices. And then throughout that week, they're being supported in tutorial sessions with their tutor to understand the process, complete it in the session, ask any questions they have, and get all the help and advice and guidance from the tutors who are experts in this area. On Thursday, the 2nd of March, we have a specialist application evening. So that's something taking place at college for the parents and carers of students who are choosing employability and enterprise, visual arts, Oxbridge, or medics as their preferred progression route. Nikki Fabry, the higher education lead for the college, is recording a video that covers all the key UCAS processes to make sure that you can understand everything you need to know there. Friday, the 20th of March is the deadline for students to have entered their choices. And then tutors have a week to review those and sign them off. So they will be signed off by the 27th of March. If students do not manage to input their choices before that deadline, we will continue to chase them to do so, but it becomes less likely they'll be able to get on their preferred pathways because the students who've completed it within time will be prioritized. So I hope you find that useful and you're able to use this information to support your students. We really look forward to taking them through to the second year and allowing them to explore all these additional benefits that second year students have in terms of personalizing their pathway. If you have any questions, please do get in touch via your young person's personal tutor, and I hope to see you soon. Thanks. Bye.